So imagine this. That was, to go back way in 2003. I was only Toastmasters for 1 year. The speaker gave a speech. This is my evaluation. I said, you look dead tired. You should have more energy. Now, to probably some of you who are native speakers, dead tired doesn't mean anything. But to the listener, to the person who received it, she was very angry. She was asking, why are you cursing me to death? That's when I learned one thing. What I say on stage matters a lot. And tonight, we are all here to talk about evaluation. One of the things about evaluation that could be very daunting is that one, what if I don't know how to evaluate? What if I don't know how to say it correctly? Or what if I make the speaker angry? Those could be some of the things that happen when you're doing evaluation. But tonight, we're very blessed as a club. Because not only do you have members who just started the Toastmasters journey, you have members who are very seasoned in this group. So we're going to have a lot of ideas coming back and forth. And so for those of you who are very seasoned, you're hoping to really gain something very advanced, well, I hope that today will be a good refresher and reminder about what to do with evaluation. But if not, I hope that you gain something out of it too. Now, before we begin, I would like to ask you this very important question. So, which quality is more important for an evaluator? To be focused, to be motivational, or to be credible? Now, if you think the most important is to be focused, make a fist. If you think it's motivational, make a 2. And if you say credible, put a hands up. Okay, ready? So, 1, 2, 3. Go ahead. Alright, so what do we have? What do we have? Oh, okay. What? People are looking, oh, which one? Which one? Should I change? Should I change? No, wait. Okay, now I see some of you put fist, some of you put mostly 2s. Okay, so let me ask the. So, hi, may I have your name?
Oh, my name is Lester.
Lester, okay, so you put a fist down, so why would you say it's focused?
Well, when you are getting evaluated, you want, your motivation is to get better. You want to have someone evaluate you very focused on finding those things that you need to improve. So for me, that's the more crucial because I'm here giving a speech and I want to get the best feedback.
Fair enough. Very good. Exactly. So there's a lot of speakers that come up here and they're hoping, hey, give me an evaluation so that way I can upgrade myself, right? But then I see a lot of 2, so let me just randomly invite. Hi, may I have your name?
My name is Ella.
Ella, right. So Ella, it's equal to 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so why would you say it's motivational? Like to give, make them feel positive so they can keep continuing?
Huh? Yes.
I'm sure that most of you are thinking, well, all of them should be important, right? Especially being credible. Now, I can tell you one thing. Toastmasters, if you remember the foundation of Toastmasters, is that we learn from peers. So technically, it's not per se an expert here trying to teach you or to train you at all. But how can you become more credible? I'll give you more insights at the end, towards the end of this workshop. Right? But for today, forget about credibility at this moment. I'd like you to think about more actually motivation. Now, I believe very strongly to be focused because when you're being an evaluator, you want to ask these 3 questions. One is, how can you be effective with your evaluation? That's the key word, effective. When you're giving feedback, are you being effective? 2, are you enlightening the person? And just what Lester said, he wants to learn something, so you need to enlighten him. And last but not least, and very important part, is encouragement. So these are the 3 key areas I'd like to focus on. And most of you should have received an extra worksheet paper right here. You can use this during the workshop to fill in. You can take your own notes, either on the paper, try to fill in the blanks. If not, you can take your own notes on your own paper to be fine too. Alright? Now, let's talk about being effective first. So what is at the core evaluation? One of the things is, when we come up here, there's always something you need to focus on. What is it? But before we do that, I'd like you to think about these 2 mindsets. What does mindset A tell you, and what does mindset B tell you? give you 30 seconds or so to think about what does it mean? What kind of mindset should an evaluator have when you are presenting your evaluation? So let's hear some answers, maybe. Hi, at the back, the lady in red. Yes. May I have your name?
I'm Wendy.
Wendy. Okay, so Wendy, what do you think mindset A would present?
I see they're helping each other and then see teamwork here.
Okay, you see teamwork, you see that helping each other. Cool. And perhaps the gentleman at the back? Hi.
The first one, the first picture, I think is the structure. Construct the structure.
Okay, so constructing the structure right there, very good. Okay, let's try to compare mindset B as well. Maybe the gentleman with mobility. Is it?
Well, I'm short-sighted and I don't have a glass.
So just to describe to you, there's a picture right here with a magnifying glass. Someone is holding a
Right, okay. It's, yeah, I think it's analyzing, looking at very small details.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Yes, now because of time, I'm not going to ask the whole room. And I'm going to give you a model answer, even though I opened a very open question right here. Everybody has different interpretations. Now, I do like the word teamwork that you put on. Because one of the things is, as an evaluator, you maybe one individual that comes in and gives evaluation. But technically, everybody here is evaluating the speaker. You know, you receive a lot of comments, right? A habit that we have is after a speech, okay, write a comment down for the speaker. So one of the things is, being an evaluator, you have to have a mindset that you're building up the speaker. That's the main thing. You can be all analytical all you want in your evaluation. You can give all the details and everything else. But ultimately, does it help to build the speaker? Being critical doesn't mean you're building the speaker. Maybe not. Maybe you need to be more motivational versus than just giving them the techniques only. Maybe it's psychological. So we don't know. It all depends on the speaker you're evaluating. And perhaps before I move on, let me ask you this question. For those of you who've been seasoned enough, how many stages do we have in evaluation? Stages. Three. Okay, which are the three?
Press, room of improvement, and press.
Okay, that's your point. This is the structure of the evaluation. I'm talking about stage one, before the speaker comes up and speaks. You need to talk to the speaker. How often do we really do that? How often do we ask, hey, what do you want to really improve on this time in your speech? That's stage one. Stage two will be what we're going to talk about today, which is on stage evaluation. Then you have stage three, which is post-evaluation, meaning after meeting. You know, most of the time now we're pandemic, we cannot really have dinner together, but that's when the real evaluation happens. Because a lot of things we cannot say on stage, we can say it one-to-one. So there are three stages to evaluation: pre, during, and post. But today I'm mainly focusing what you say on stage. But do mind that we have different stages for evaluation. So therefore, again, all about building up the speakers. Alright, moving forward. Yes. So what can you focus on when you are actually evaluating? Today we have two speeches. If you look carefully at the agenda, it does tell you what exactly the focus is, the objective is. Okay? And actually with the pathway, I have to say they're more general in their objectives. Now you look at the objective here. Pick any topic, make a speech. Then they're like, okay then, any topic, pick a speech. Of course, there are certain things we need to expect. What do we expect from an effective speech, right? So therefore, first thing today, if you're an evaluator, and actually all of you will be evaluating, look at the objectives. What do we need to talk about? One of them is about picking a topic and then make a speech. The other one's about mentoring. So what kind of things we need to mention about? So let's try to stay focused today. And let's move on to the enlightening part. So we're talking about being effective, meaning that you need to know your focus, you need to have a mindset, you need to build the speaker. Then we talk about how you enlighten the speaker. And perhaps, let's try to do something a bit more interactive. I would like to split you into 6 groups. You form your groups of 5. Okay, probably randomly will be within the table closest to you. And use your phone. scan this QR code. You see, once you scan it, you should be able to reach this page right here. It has introduction, story, message, structure, conclusion, audience engagement. I would like you to start sharing your own knowledge about what it means to be an effective speech. Form your group first, and I'll tell you what you need to focus on. One group will be focused on introduction, another group will be focused on story, message, structure. But form your group first, so that way I know who is working together in this group. Okay, so groups of five, maximum probably. Right. Final 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 1. Ding, ding. All right. Now this is the power of Toastmasters. You have so many details, so many knowledge. All of you can actually know exactly what is an effective speech. The question is, what do we focus on in your evaluation? We focus on every single thing, right? But let me go through a little bit of the answer right here. So in terms of introduction, attract audience attention. Yes, we know, very good. Arouse audience interest, okay, engage audience. Let me see if there's any way of how here. Okay, quotation, benefits, questions, could be also the how. Now notice that the language I use, how. Because as an evaluator, we need to focus on how to help the speaker. Alright, so in terms of story, gather topics in, wow, don't worry, I'll screen cap this for you and I'll send it to the cloud, you guys will have it, alright? If you guys cannot see it, don't worry about it. But here you have like a whole Bible of how to make a good story. That's all I have to say. Central, so a message, motivating, okay, very good. Supporting with examples, very important. Then sudden resonate, I like this word, resonate with the audience. That's something that you can also mention about in your evaluation, if that is the purpose of that evaluation. Then you have conclusion and everything. So I'm not going to go through all the little details, but all of you have knowledge about what it means to be an effective speech. Keyword, demonstrate. So you need to be able to demonstrate what you ask the speaker to do. However, it's not just only demonstrating the improvements, it's also demonstrating what the speaker has done well. Sometimes you may go through, well, that speaker is really, has really high level, I don't know what I can say. You can focus on what you can learn from the speaker. And this is one of the things that you can do. I know Toastmasters, we say, you must be able to pick something to improve on. Well, not every single time. And two is, depending on your level of how much you enrich yourself in public speaking skills, if you don't know how to improve it now, research on it, learn about it. And that's one of the key things about being evaluators. I've joined Toastmasters for almost 20 years. And basically, I learned from everybody here, from workshop speakers, anyone, and you build up that knowledge. So if on that day you feel like, oh, I really don't know how to help that person improve, then you research on it, get some feedback. And I'll give you a source later on at the end of the workshop, so you know where you can get that source, where you can upgrade your skills as well. Okay? But moving forward, so in evaluation there are 3 key points. Make a point, prove your point, demo your point. Okay? These are the 3 key parts. Now I already saw the red card, so I'm pretty sure I'm running out of time. It's going to ring the bell very soon. So I'm going to skip forward to all the answers a little bit. Okay? Hopefully you don't mind. So to praise, you can ask 3 questions. What is it that they have done well? Why it matters. Now remember, we'll go back to the focus. Because if you just said, oh, you need to have better eye contact. Well, we know that, but why? Well, let's see if you guys can think about that. But if let's say it's a persuasive speech, how important is eye contact? Pretty important, because you want to build more rapport and connections, right? So that's one of the things that you need to be able to explain. Then you need to be able to what was done. Now this is for the positive. Positive means you reenact what they have done. Improvement is the same, except you focus on what's next, how to improve it. You need to be able to demonstrate it. Okay? So therefore, you need to be specific and perfect timing. Now, before I finish very quickly, structure is an important part to help encouragement. That's why we use a sandwich approach. Okay? On your paper has this already. I give you the structure. This is what I usually, mostly, 99.9% of the time, I use, right? So you need to prioritize because you could have 10,000 things you want to say about the speech. Which one is the most important? And I would say because you only have the stage, if let's say you don't do the pre and the post, you only have the stage, talk about the things that matter the most for the speaker. Not, maybe title may not be one, or maybe just little gestures may not be one. So maybe focus more on the content. And as a matter of fact, at the back of this paper, I made a list of questions that I used to use as a checklist. These are all content-related checklists. I do not focus on vocabulary or body language. So you can use this, all right? And as the last thing before I go, one of the things is you may want to remember encourage, enlighten, and empower because these are the wordings I tell myself to do on stage. I'm going to pass to you a paper right here. This will be used for you to take notes while the speakers are here. And later on, pay attention to the evaluators. This is also a note for you to take notes on what the evaluator has said because part 2, that's when you and I, we gather and discuss the evaluation that happened tonight. All right? So that is part 1, and I'll pass the back time to the Toastmaster of the evening. To actually take notes. I hope you have taken notes of the evaluators, especially what they say. And basically what I'd like to just review very quickly first about what just happened. 1, I know we covered in terms of the structure, and there's a few things I haven't really explained very clearly yet in terms of what you see right here. 2 positive, 2 improvement, and 1 best point. But one of the things is that structure is where it comes from. The encouragement part, that's the first 2 points. Enlighten, that's the second part. The empower part, that's when you talk about the best thing about the speaker, to really tell them this is your best quality that you have. Now, the thing is, as you see on your worksheet, I actually separated it into the structure that the evaluator has used, the whys, and also the something. And then last is encouragement. So that part, I hope that you have taken some notes about what words they have used. And as you pay more attention to what the evaluators say, and especially the way they structure it, that would usually help you to become also a better evaluator. And these are some of the things that I like to do on my notes. I usually put a plus sign if the speaker, the evaluator is talking about something positive, and just write the keywords. Because sometimes you may notice that they explain a lot of things, but maybe the structure needs to be better worded. And then you can also put a little, I usually use a minus sign as a way to say, okay, this is the improvement part that you're focusing on. Then you will notice that let's say we are looking at SK structure, just as an example, because later on, I'm going to give you time to actually discuss those. But for him, you can tell he has 3 positive, and then he was going for another structure, which is going 3 also improvements. So he tried to balance both those out. Now, here's the thing that I want you to think about. In the end, he had the bell rang too as well. And so what does that mean? Does he have enough time for summary? So if you look at that structure, it also has a summary. Summary is an important part, because you mentioned a lot of things. How can you make it clear at the end of your evaluation? All right? So in that sense, that's what the structure I'd like to explain. Right now, I'd like to give you 5 minutes and go back to the same team that you were working with early on, so that way you can discuss. And each team I will assign you an evaluator that you can focus on. Now, and actually before I go on, table topic is a bit different. You cannot follow that structure I just gave. Table topic is very short, especially for achievers. You have 2 minutes. Each speaker is 1 minute. Roughly, it's about 1 point for improvement and 1 point for positive. Max, if you're a fast speaker, 3 points. That's all you can do. So we can also observe probably the first table topic speaker. Maybe think about the ratio. What was the ratio to the feedback? How much did she give? And how much did she give to the second speaker as well? All right. But anyway, so same team, go back to it, and then I'll assign you the evaluator. Something you may want to consider. And if you remember, as the last part, that there was one called audience engagement. I haven't really assigned any groups to talk about it, But you can think about this. What does it mean by audience engagement? How do you do it? Right? And as I don't have time for Q&A, but I'll let you to consider this. One of the things is, it's as an evaluation workshop, I'm hoping to give you a lot of things, and that's I'm being greedy. So, but then there's a lot of knowledge that you may think, oh, how come he has that, or maybe let's say another Eric, or maybe Derek, how come they already know all these things? Where did they get it? A lot of times is you have to spend time doing research, and that's what I did every single time. I did a speech, I'm not sure how to do it, or maybe somebody did a speech, I'm not sure how to do it. So at the end of your worksheet right here, the back there is this one, the first one I gave you. This one right here. At the back there's a QR code. This is the first website that I used when at the beginning of my Toastmasters journey. I checked it out a lot just to learn more about what is public speaking. And so if you forget everything that I say and mention tonight, just go to that website. Alright? And because Toastmasters is a place where you learn not only from your peers, but you have to do your own learning as well. And that's how you can grow as a speaker, as a evaluator, all together. So tonight, I hope you have gained what you're looking for. And if not, I hope you have gained at least the structure of a good evaluation. And if not, at least you have a resource for you to go home and start your evaluation and build up those public speaking skills.